Hello folks and welcome to the conclusion of Zork 3, the Dungeon Master. Yes, in this video we're going to put an end to Zork 3 and become the Dungeon Master. In the last video we entered the royal puzzle and solved it, which technically was a pain in the ass. Just cut most of it out. I'm getting lost. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go north. Now we're going to go west. North again. We're gonna go west again, north, east, northeast, north. We're gonna press the button and open the mirror. Click, snap, the mirror's open. North again. Hallway. This is a part of the long hallway. The east and west walls are dressed stone. In the center of the hall is a shallow stone channel. In the center of the room, the channel widens into a large hole around which is engraved a compass rose. The hallway continues to the south. A large mirror fills the north side of the hallway. The mirror is mounted on a panel which has been opened outward. Now we're going to go north into the mirror. Inside mirror. You are inside a rectangular box of wood whose structure is rather complicated. Four sides and the roof are filled in and the floor is open. As you face the side opposite the entrance, two short sides of carved and polished wood are to your left and right. The left panel is mahogany, the right panel pine. The wall you face is red on its left half and black on its right. On the entrance side, the wall is white opposite the red part of the wall it faces, and yellow opposite the black section. The painted walls are at least twice the length of the unpainted ones. The ceiling is painted blue. In the floor is a stone channel about 6 inches wide and a foot deep. The channel is oriented in a north-south direction. In the exact corner of the room, the channel widens into a circular depression, perhaps 2 feet wide. Inside in the stone around this area is a compass rose. Running from one short wall to the other about waist height is a wooden bar carefully carved and drilled. This bar is pierced in 2 places. The first hole is in the center of the bar and thus the center of the room. The second is at the left end of the room as you face opposite the entrance. Through each hole runs a wooden pole. The pole at the left end of the bar is short, extending about a foot above the bar and ends in a hand grip. The pole has been dropped into a hole carved in the stone floor. The long pole at the center of the bar extends from the ceiling through the bar to the circular area in the stone channel. This bottom end of the pole has a T-bar a bit less than 2 feet long attached to it, and on the T-bar is carved an arrow. The arrow and the T-bar are pointing west. Now we're going to raise short pole. The pole is now slightly above the floor. Now we're going to press white panel. The structure rotates counterclockwise. The arrow on the compass rose now indicates southwest. And we're gonna do it again. Press white panel. The structure rotates counterclockwise. The arrow on the compass rose now indicates south. The mirror quietly swings shut. Now we're going to lower, short pull. The pull is lowered into the channel. Now we're going to push, pine panel. The pine panel swings open. Now we're going to go north. As you leave, the door swings shut. Hallway. This is a part of the long hallway. The east and west walls are dressed stone. In the center of the hall is a shallow stone channel. In the center of the room, the channel widens into a large hole around which is engraved a compass rose. So just when you get past the mirror puzzle, you have to face the Guardians of Zork. Somewhat to the north, identical stone statues face each other from pedestals on opposite sides of the corridor. The statues represent Guardians of Zork, a military order of ancient lineage. They are portrayed as heavily armed warriors, standing at ease, hands clasped around formidable bludgeons. The south side of the room is divided by a wooden wall into small hallways to the southeast and southwest. How do you get by the Guardians of Zork? Well, you can do it the hard way, the way I did it when I first played this game. I didn't have the vial. Or you can just open the vial and drink the liquid. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to open the vial and drink the liquid. The vial is open. There is a sweet odor from within the vial, apparently coming from a heavy but invisible liquid. That's what we're going to be when we drink the vial. We're going to be invisible. Drink liquid. You drink the contents in one gulp, but nothing unusual seems to have happened as a result. Now we're going to go north. And this is repetition, is all it is. On either side of you are identical stone statues holding bludgeons. They appear ready to strike, though for the moment they remain impassive. The corridor continues north and south. That's because you're invisible. Now we're going to go north again. And it's more repetition. We're going to go north again. Dungeon entrance. You are in a north-south hallway which ends to the north at a large wooden door. The corridor continues south. The wooden door has a barred panel in it at about head height. The door itself is locked. So now we're going to knock on door. The knock reverberates along the hall. For a time it seems there will be no answer. Then you hear someone unlatching the small wooden panel. Through the bars of the great door, the wrinkled face of an old man appears. After a moment he starts to smile broadly. He disappears for an instant and the massive door opens without a sound. The old man motions and you feel yourself drawn toward him. I am the master of the dungeon, he booms. I have been watching you closely during your journey through the great underground empire. Yes, he says, as if recalling some almost forgotten time. We have met before, although I may not appear as I did then. You look closely into his deeply lined face and see the face of the old man by the secret door. your friend at the cliff and the hooded figure. You have shown kindness to the old man and compassion toward the hooded one. I have seen you display patience in the puzzle and trust at the cliff. You have demonstrated strength, ingenuity, and valor. However, one final test awaits you. Now, command me as you will and complete your quest. Narrow corridor. You are in a narrow north-south corridor. At the south end is a door, and at the north end is an east-west corridor. The door is closed. The dungeon master is quietly leaning on his staff here. I guess we showed patience when we did the royal puzzle. We showed trust when we helped the man out by the cliff. We showed kindness when we helped the old man out by giving him bread to eat. And we showed compassion to the hooded figure. Of course, in all those cases, we got something in return that doesn't tell us that here. Now we're going to go north. South corridor. You are in an east-west corridor which turns north at its eastern and western ends. The walls are made of the finest marble. An additional passage leads south. At the center of the corridor, the dungeon master follows you. Now we're going to go east. East corridor. This is a hall with polished marble walls. It widens slightly as it turns west at its northern and southern ends. The dungeon master follows you. Now we're going to go north. North corridor. This is a wide east-west corridor which opens onto a northern parapet. At its center, you can see flames and smoke as you peer towards the parapet. The corridor turns south at either end, and in the center of the south wall is a heavy wooden door with a small window barred with iron. Sounds familiar. The door is closed. The dungeon master follows you. Now we're going to go north. Parapet. You are standing behind a stone retaining wall which rims a large parapet overlooking a fiery pit. It is difficult to see through the smoke and flame which fills the pit, but it seems to be more or less bottomless. The pit itself is circular, above 200 feet in diameter, and is fashioned of roughly hewn stone. The flames generate considerable heat, so it is rather uncomfortable standing here. There is an object here which looks like a sundial. On it are an indicator, arrow, and in the center a large button. On the face of the dial are numbers 1 through 8. The indicator points to the number 1. To the south, across a narrow corridor, is a prison cell. The dungeon master follows you. Well, now what we want to do here is read the book. Remember the book we picked up from the royal puzzle? We're going to read it here. The book seems to will itself open to a specific page. On it is a picture of 8 small rooms located around a great circle of flame. Okay, I think that's the pit we just looked at, or parapet. All are identical save one, which has a bronze door leading to a magnificent room bathed in golden light. A legend beneath the picture says only the dungeon and treasure of Zork. Now we want to get into the bronze door. The bronze door leads to the treasures of Zork. Now we're going to turn dial to 4. The dial now points to 4. Now we're going to press the button. The button depresses with a slight click and pops back. Now we're going to tell the Dungeon Master wait. The Dungeon Master answers, I will stay. We're going to go south. Open cell door. So what we're going to do next. Cell door opens. Now we're going to go south again. Prison cell. You are in a featureless prison cell. You can see an east-west corridor outside the open wooden door in front of you. Your view also takes in the parapet and behind a large fiery pit. The dungeon master is standing on the parapet, leaning on his wooden staff. His keen gaze is fixed on you and he looks somewhat tense, as if waiting for something to happen. Behind you to the south is a bronze door which is closed. Now we're going to tell the dungeon master to turn the dial to 8 and press button. If you wish, he replies. Now we're going to tell the dungeon master to push the button. If you wish, he replies. Prison cell. You are in a bare prison cell. Its wooden door is securely fastened, and you can see only flames and smoke through its small window. On the south wall is a bronze door which seems to be closed. You notice that the cell door is now closed. Now, remember that strange key we've been carrying around? We used it earlier to try to unlock the chest at the cliff, but it wouldn't work. That's what you use here. Unlock bronze door with key. The key seems to mold itself to the shape of the lock. With a mere twist of your hand, the massive bolt gives way. Now, as soon as we go south, will become the dungeon master and Zork 3 will be over. You ready for this? Here we go. We're entering the treasure house of Zork, the great underground empire. Oh darn it. Bronze door is closed. I gotta open the door. Open door. On the other side of the bronze door is a narrow passage which opens out into a large area. Now we can go south and become the dungeon master. The difficulties of ending a game. Treasury of Zork. This is a large room richly appointed in a style that bespeaks exquisite taste. To judge from its contents, it is the ultimate storehouse of the wealth of the great underground empire. There are chests here containing precious jewels, mountains of Zork mids, rare paintings, ancient statuary, and beguiling curios. On one wall is an annotated map of the empire showing the location of various troves of treasure and of several superior scenic views. Yeah, and one of them where we died. On a desk at the far end of the room may be found stock certificates representing a controlling interest in Frobosco International, the multinational conglomerate and parent company of the Frobos Magic Boat Company, etc. As you gleefully examine your newfound riches, the dungeon master materializes beside you and says, now that you have solved all the mysteries of the dungeon, It is time for you to assume your rightly earned place in the scheme of things. Long have I waited for one capable of releasing me from my burden. He taps you lightly on the head with his staff, mumbling a few well chosen spells, and you feel yourself changing, growing older and more stooped. For a moment, there are two identical mages standing among the treasure. Then your counterpart dissolves into a mist and disappears, a sardonic grin on his face. For a moment, you are relieved, safe in the knowledge that you have at least accomplished your quest in Zork. You begin to feel the very powers and lore at your command and thirst for an opportunity to use them. Now we become the dungeon master, but we're locked in the Zork treasure vault. I wasn't nice to the dungeon master, was he, to lock the door and leave us? It's a cool game. I like Zork 3, the Dungeon Master. And this concludes the Zork trilogy. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed the Zork trilogy 1, 2, and 3. This is quite a challenge to play through. If you haven't played through the 3 Zork games yet, Zork 1, Zork 2, and Zork 3, I recommend that you do so. So, until next time, this is Gamer Lon signing out, saying thanks for watching and take care, folks. Bye. I'll catch you later.